There is a test many immigrants have to pass at work. The strange part is nobody officially gives you this test, but you feel it every single day. It's the test where you have to work twice as hard as everyone else just to prove you deserve the job. If you're an immigrant, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? The moment you start working somewhere, you feel like you're on probation, even if you're not. You feel like your performance is being measured differently. If someone else makes a mistake, it's just a mistake. If you make a mistake, it feels like a confirmation of someone's doubt. You avoid complaining, even when the workload is unfair. Because at the back of your mind, there is a small voice saying, don't give them a reason. Don't give them a reason to say immigrants can do the job. Don't give them a reason to ask why they hired you. Don't give them a reason to doubt you. For a lot of immigrants, work isn't just work. It's reputation, survival, identity, and sometimes permission to belong. You're not just doing your job, you're doing damage control for assumptions you didn't create. And that pressure changes how you work. You show up early, sometimes earlier than everyone else. You double check your emails. Then you check them again. Not because you don't understand the job, but because you're thinking about the tone. Does it sound too passive? Too direct? Is my grammar flawless? Will someone silently judge me for one misplaced word and decide I'm not capable? Sometimes you sit in meetings rehearsing sentences in your head before saying them out loud. By the time you're ready to speak, the conversation has already moved on. And it's not because you don't have ideas, it's because you're translating, you're filtering and calculating all at once. Meanwhile, someone else speaks freely. They ramble, interrupt, and make mistakes. And it's fine, it's seen as confidence. But when you speak, it must land. It must be clear, correct, and valuable. There is less room for error when you feel like you're being evaluated as a whole group instead of just as an individual. So you work harder, not always because you want to, but because it feels like you must. You take on extra tasks. You volunteer for things others avoid. You say yes more than you say no, because saying no feels risky when you're not sure how secure your position really is. Because somewhere at the back of your mind, there is a voice reminding you how much is at stake. For some immigrants, that pressure isn't abstract. It's tied to visas, legal status, or family expectations. Losing a job isn't just inconvenient. It can mean losing stability entirely. It can mean starting over from zero in a place that already took so much effort to get to. So you push, even when you're tired, even when you're sick, even when you're burnt out. And then there is the invisible work, the kind no one puts on a performance review, adapting to workplace culture, learning unwritten rules, figuring out humor, references, and social cues that everyone else seems to just get. Sometimes you laugh along even when you don't fully understand the joke. You nod even when something feels unclear because you don't want to slow things down or stand out in the wrong way. You're constantly balancing between staying authentic and blending in. And when you finally succeed, it doesn't always feel like success right away. Sometimes it feels like relief. Like you passed another test no one explicitly told you were taking. But here's the thing. This constant pressure to work twice as hard doesn't come from a lack of ability. It comes from a lack of margin for error. It comes from feeling like you have more to prove and less room to prove it imperfectly. And yet, despite of all that, immigrants contribute massively to companies, to hospitals, to communities, to innovation, to growth. Not because they are superhuman, but because they've had to build resilience in ways that aren't always visible. The long hours, the over-preparation, the self-monitoring shape how they show up. It sharpens skills, it builds discipline, but it also comes at a cost. Because working twice as hard shouldn't be the baseline requirement to be seen as equal. If you're an immigrant, I'd love to hear your experience. Have you ever felt like you had to work twice as hard just to prove you deserved your job? Thank you for watching. And if you haven't subscribed, kindly consider doing so, and I'll see you in the next video.